In a faraway town stood one of the most famous churches, the Glory of Zion Church. The church was known for its vibrant congregation, powerful sermons, and exceptional choir that uplifted the spirit of all who attended. The Glory of Zion Church was led by Pastor Ezekiel, a young and handsome man in his late 30s. He had an aura that captivated everyone. He was tall, with striking features and very good looking. Pastor Ezekiel was married to a devoted woman named Sister Grace. Sister Grace, who was gentle and kind, dedicated herself to supporting her husband and serving the church. Sister Grace was the woman leader in the Glory of Zion Church. Sister Grace would sing praises of her husband and boast of his perfect nature and dedication to God. Little did she know, her husband harbored a dark secret. Despite his outward appearance of righteousness, Pastor Ezekiel was a pretender to the core. Under the guise of spiritual counseling and late-night prayer sections, he invites his female church members, including members of the choir and prayer warriors, to his hotel room within the church vicinity. Pastor Ezekiel kept his promiscuous nature hidden from his wife, as he never hesitated to sleep with any woman he could get hold of. Pastor Ezekiel was so smart that he made sure his affairs with other women left no traces that Sister Grace, his wife, would never find out about. In fact, Pastor Ezekiel had an affair with Sister Miriam, the choir mistress, but he did not stop there. He made advances on other choir members, such as Sister Naomi and Sister Esther, and led each of the women to believe she was the sole object of his affection. Pastor Ezekiel usually set aside time in the middle of the night to be intimate with his female church members. Needless to say, that Pastor Ezekiel was every woman's dream. Many of his female church members would do anything to have him, even if it means being a second wife. Pastor Ezekiel did not stop at old female members, as even the new ones were not left out. Sister Ogechi, a new member who recently joined the church, quickly fell for Pastor Ezekiel's charm. Pastor Ezekiel promised her money and other material gains. Before she knew it, they were having a secret affair. But it turned out that she was not the only one. Sister Ogechi did not know that she was just one of the church members that Pastor Ezekiel was having an affair with. Pastor Ezekiel was pulling the same trick with other women in the church, married and single, making each one believe she was special. He was using the church money to buy expensive gifts for all his mistresses, stealing millions of naira from the church's accounts. The church accounting team did not see anything because they were all getting a cut of the stolen money. Things started falling apart when Sister Ogechi found out that she was pregnant. She was so scared, as this was going to ruin her reputation in church. One will people say that an unmarried leader of the prayer warrior unit has gotten pregnant out of wedlock? Never. She said to herself. Sister Ogechi knew she had to do something about the pregnancy, but she didn't know what to do. So she went to Pastor Ezekiel, thinking he could help her. But instead of being supportive, he was really cold and told her to keep it a secret or get an abortion. He was worried about his reputation. How can one of the most respected pastors in Zion Ministries be responsible for a pregnancy that is not his wife? Pastor, I am pregnant, Sister Ogechi said, her voice shaking. His face got really serious. You have to keep this to yourself or get rid of it, Ogechi. If anyone finds out, my reputation will be ruined, and I'm not even sure it's mine. Look, Sister Ogechi, I am never going to accept responsibility for this child. Go and do your worst. How can you say that? This is your child. Sister Ogechi cried as she said with tears running down her face. When she knew that Pastor Ezekiel was never going to accept the child, that night, Sister Ogechi cried out her eyes. How could she be so naive? Why did she let Pastor Ezekiel deceive her into doing this? The next day, in church, Sister Ogechi devised a plan to expose Pastor Ezekiel. Sister Ogechi decided to spill a secret love affair to her church friend, Brother James. She met with Brother James, looking unhappy and worried. As she said, "Brother James, I need your help. Pastor Ezekiel is not the man we think he is," she whispered. Brother James looked at her. "What do you mean, Sister Ogechi?" She took a deep breath, her voice trembling. "He's been using his position to seduce women in the church, and I'm pregnant for him." Brother James found it hard to believe that a man of God, whom is so much respected, could do such a thing. "How can you say this to a man of God?" he rebuked her. But Sister Ogechi remained resolute. "Wait, I have evidence." She reached out to her phone and showed Brother James some of the phone conversations between Pastor Ezekiel and her. "I want us to investigate to see that I am not lying." Sister Ogechi and Brother James then decided to uncover Pastor Ezekiel's true nature. They discreetly gathered evidence and approached the church elders, who were initially reluctant to believe the accusations against their beloved pastor. "This is hard to believe," Elder Samuel said, frowning at the accusation. "Pastor Ezekiel has been a pillar of our church and community." "But we have evidence," Brother James insisted, showing them messages and photos. "We need to confront him." The church elders reluctantly agreed and devised a plan to catch Pastor Ezekiel in the act. To avoid suspicion from Pastor Ezekiel, they chose Sister Ifoma, one of the newest members of the church that Pastor Ezekiel desperately wanted to have a secret affair with, as she agreed to help them expose him. Sister Ifoma was neutral, and it was unlikely that Pastor Ezekiel would suspect her. She approached Pastor Ezekiel under the guise of needing spiritual counsel, knowing he would fall for the bait. Later that evening, Sister Ifoma invited Pastor Ezekiel to her apartment, claiming she needed urgent prayer and guidance. Unknown to Pastor Ezekiel, it was a plot. Brother James and several church elders were hiding in the next room, ready to catch him in the act. As Pastor Ezekiel entered the apartment, he greeted Sister Ifoma with his usual charm. "Sister Ifoma, it's always a pleasure to see you. How can I be of service to you tonight?" "Pastor, I've been feeling so lost and confused," Sister Ifoma said, her voice trembling. "I need your prayers and guidance to find my way." "Of course, my dear," Pastor Ezekiel replied as he placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Let's go to the bedroom where we can pray without distractions." So they moved to the bedroom, where Pastor Ezekiel began his usual routine of manipulation. "Sister Ifoma, you know you are one of the hottest women in the church, right? Just say yes to my proposal, and I will spoil you with so much money." Just as he was about to make his move, almost half naked, Brother James and the church elders burst into the room with cameras in hand. Pastor Ezekiel, what is the meaning of this? Brother James shouted, his voice filled with righteous anger. Pastor Ezekiel stumbled back, shocked with fear written all over his face. This is not what it looks like. I was just offering spiritual guidance, Pastor Ezekiel said. Spiritual guidance in bed, Elder Samuel retorted, glaring at him. We have seen enough, Ezekiel. You have betrayed our trust and the trust of this entire congregation. Sister Ifeoma, with tears in her eyes, turned to Pastor Ezekiel. How could you, Pastor? We believed in you. You were like a spiritual mentor to us. Forgive me, it is the work of the devil, Pastor Ezekiel answered, half naked, begging. The evidence was undeniable, and Pastor Ezekiel's deceit was laid bare for all to see. However, the scandal deepened when one of the women came forward, Sister Monica and Sister Ifeoma, both prominent members of the church, to confess that they too were carrying Pastor Ezekiel's child. Their confessions shocked the congregation, which further revealed the extent of Pastor Ezekiel's deceit and promiscuity. Pastor Ezekiel was summoned to the church disciplinary committee and was given a strict mandate to step down immediately as the head pastor and to take care of his pregnant mistress. And so, Pastor Ezekiel was suspended as the head pastor of Zion Ministries and was told to go on a journey of 1 year dedicated to healing, praying and fasting in atonement for his sins. Poor Sister Grace, Pastor Ezekiel's wife, was devastated by her husband's betrayal as she collapsed immediately she heard the news and was too ashamed to find her way back to church. It was hard for her as she could not bear the enormous shame her so-called husband has brought upon them. The congregation found itself troubled by the enormity of Pastor Ezekiel's betrayal. It was hard for the Zion Ministry church members to recover from the betrayal. But the scandal served as a harsh lesson on the dangers of blind faith and the importance of accountability. As time went by, the glory of Zion Church emerged stronger and more united in faith. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the story. Please do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you in my next video.